Hi, I'm Catherine Goshen, a professional astrologer from the village of Nyack in New York State, and I'm passionate about in-depth astrology and getting to the heart of the matter. In this video, I want to talk about astrology and health in a very general, helpful way, because we could all use some tips on how to stay healthy. You will listen to this video according to your sun sign, but also if you know your moon sign, it will be really helpful because the moon is very much linked to our physical vegetative body. And if you know your rising sign, this is also a link to our health center, because the rising sign or ascendant is showing us our core vitality and our core energy that we bring into this life as we take our first breath. And think about that for a moment. It is the breath that connects us to life. So whenever things are going topsy-turvy and you're sensing that in your body, take a moment to breathe, because that brings everything into alignment. And true health is about being in balance and having everything in alignment. Most of the time when illness or disease comes into the body, it is because we are out of balance, either on a physical, a mental, or an emotional level. Each of the 12 signs are expressed in each of our bodies. So we are not just our sun sign or our moon sign or our rising sign. We have a balance of planets in other signs. And if we express too much of one planetary energy, this is what can lead to the imbalance. So I'm going to go through the signs and we'll see a few helpful ways to get in tune. Let's begin with the two Mars-ruled signs, Aries and Scorpio. On a very literal physical level, Aries is linked to the head and the face, and Scorpio is linked to the genitals and part of the colon. So if there are any blockages in those areas, it's going to affect the entire working of the body. Aries needs to make sure that they are not suffering from headaches, and a way to move towards health is to limit the amount of force that is put into physical exercise. If there is too much strain, this can result in an excessive energy in the head, and the forcing is what causes imbalance in the body. For Scorpio, the same thing. In that area of the body, there needs to be a regulation of energy, and strong physical exercise is recommended for both of these signs. On a more subtle energetic level, the signs of Aries and Scorpio are linked to the root chakra. This is situated at the base of the spine and is very much connected to our sense of grounding in life. So when Aries or Scorpio feel out of alignment, or those of you who have many planets gathered in those signs, it is vital to ground yourself on the earth. Do any kind of standing postures, for example, from yoga, or exercise where your feet are literally planted on the ground and you are affirming your connectedness and your security in life. A wonderful all-over good health remedy for Aries is a walk in fresh air. Aries tend to overheat, and it's wonderful for them to be in nature with all the freshness clearing the head. For Scorpio, it's a cold water fixed sign. The remedy is warmth, so the opposite, because Scorpio is expressing the nocturnal energies of Mars. So for Scorpio, we want warmth, we want heat, and it's really healthy when Scorpio generate a sweat and then make sure that you cool down properly and safely. Now let's talk about Taurus and Libra, the two Venus-ruled signs. Taurus in the physical body rules the throat and the thyroid gland, while Libra rules the kidneys, the adrenals, and the lower back. For many Taurus people, there can be some kind of a constriction felt in the throat. And singing or linking to this beautiful, freeing energy, such as, it could be singing on any level, from singing in the shower to taking singing lessons. It's releasing something that needs to come out and to heal. Libra benefit very much from social sports, social activities, for example, tennis, or activities where you are meeting with other people, and this is feeding the much more than the physical body. It's feeding you on an emotional level. Because both of these signs are Venus ruled, there is a tendency towards inactivity. It is the default because Venus loves to relax. Venus loves to eat rich and delicious food, a little sweet thing there or a little curry there. And one has to watch against the tendency to inertia. So once you know this, Taurus and Libra, get some help, and it can be in the form of an instructor or a program or getting your friends to motivate you. But staying healthy really requires balance. Taurus also have the emotional tendency to hold on to things. It is a retentive sign. And this can result in blockages in the body. So one wants to avoid any kind of brooding with Taurus. Taurus need to release on letting emotions go, and this brings the health and the physical body back into balance. Both Taurus and Libra are energetically linked to the second chakra, which is just below the navel. And it's where we retain all that kind of emotional tension when anything happens to you that violates your sense of well-being, your sense of self-worth, anything that when you feel invaded, that chakra can clench up and lock down, and you feel it physically in your body. For example, if you have a negative confrontation with somebody and heated words are exchanged, one can actually feel that lower abdomen clenching up. So both Taurus and Libra work on releasing through that center. There are many yoga postures which can open that up and relax it. And for Libra, always avoid straining the lower back, putting pressure on the kidneys. You need to take extra care of putting your legs up after a long day's work, and also making sure that you give your back a chance to stretch out, simply bending your knees and bending over to let the lower back release after a hard day of working or hiking, whatever you do. Pay extra attention to your lower back. It will always treat you well if you treat it well. On to the Mercury-ruled signs, which are Gemini and Virgo. Now, if you know anything about Mercury in Greek mythology, Hermes, he was the messenger of the gods, going down from Mount Olympus to earth and back. And he represents in this form the nervous system of the human being, where messages are moving from the brain through the nervous system and then taking the stimuli and the response. So people who are very strong in mercurial energies often tend to have a highly sensitive or highly wired nervous system. So for both Gemini and Virgo, you always need to work on meditations which are calming. If you do have a yoga practice, forward bends are very good for you for calming the mind. In the physical body, Gemini has jurisdiction over the lungs, and think about that connection to breath and the connection between the lungs, breathing, and the nervous system. So some Gemini people can be prone to asthma, and people with strong Gemini placements always can focus on the breath in order to calm the nervous system and to calm the mind. Gemini also has jurisdiction over the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. And think about how when we get stressed, our shoulders tend to store so much tension, right? So think about something wonderful for a Gemini to improve overall health is to do exercises which release the stress in the shoulders. Possibly even when you make your morning hot drink, just to move the shoulders back and forth is releasing that stress. For Virgo, the sensitive area that it rules is the bowels. So many Virgos, they tend to have an emotional connection to the bowels, which can cause sluggish bowels when they are in challenging situations where they don't feel emotionally safe. So for Virgo, the path to health is lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, taking care that there is regular elimination, and working on releasing and letting go in that area. Virgo is a cold and dry sign. It is retentive. It is like the earth, and it retains things. Just like Taurus, Virgos have to work on letting go of emotion and mindfully expressing when their boundaries are breached. Otherwise, they tend to hold on to things. In terms of chakras, Gemini and Virgo are fifth chakra. Very interesting, this area. So on an energetic level, they are working with releasing stress and nervous tension and communicating their truth. And this also brings the body into alignment, finding their voice and being able to express who they are. Now let's take a visit to Cancer and Leo, the two signs ruled by the moon and the sun. So we spoke already a little bit about the moon, this retentive body that is very much linked to our vegetative self. And Cancerian energy tends to be retentive. Just like the full moon draws water and the tides on earth increase, people with strong Cancer placements tend to retain. So food, for example, is a comfort, and they can have a slow metabolism. The body tends to hold on to food. Similarly, in terms of emotion, Cancer is ruling the stomach on the literal level, and emotion is very strongly registered in the stomach. There might be illness or food poisoning or stomach upsets whenever the emotional balance in the life is upset. So Cancerians need to work on calming that center. Back bends are very good for them because they open the front body. And on a chakra level, Cancerian energy is situated in the heart. So right here in the center area. And that energy is so easy to work with, to heal and to open. Something as simple as stretching the arms up every morning a few times, opening them all the way around and bringing them to the heart and repeating. This can be done at the sunrise. It can be done at any time. Maybe you're waiting for the kettle to boil. The opening of the heart and just getting everything into alignment. The energy that is good to think of with Cancer is releasing. You don't want to retain food, you don't want to retain emotions. You want to be able to let them flow freely through you. With Leo, ruled by the Sun, the physical part that Leo rules is both the heart and the spine. So Leos need to take extra good care of the heart and cardio. And one often finds when people have a Leo-Aquarius polarity, there can be some strain on the heart, and sometimes even when Scorpio-Taurus come in, because these are the fixed signs and very much linked to circulation. So for Leo, the heart and the spine, keep in good cardiac health. And on an energetic level, this chakra that Leo deals with is the solar plexus. So that area just below the rib cage, where we are feeling topsy-turvy sometimes if our boundaries are overstepped. So Leo is working on coming into contact with their own power. You think of a straight spine, you think of the heart as the central part of the body. And staying healthy for Leo is learning how to find the right balance between their power and how they interact with the world. So there's a real need to curb impulsive actions for Leo, which can be a tendency with the fire sign. For example, rushing into relationships too quickly. We want to guard against that. We want to learn how to control that energy of the solar plexus. And in terms of heart health, we want to also guard against super stressful emotional reactions, which can tend to agitate the heart. We want to keep the heart calm. We want to keep the heart open. And back bends are also incredibly helpful in yoga for the opening of the solar plexus, and for Cancer, the opening of the heart. Let's talk about Sagittarius and Pisces now, the two signs that are ruled by Jupiter. So all of us know something about Jupiter. We know that it's an incredibly large planet. So large, in fact, that Earth would practically disappear inside it. So everything that Jupiter rules tends to expand, and one has to guard against this tendency of too much. Sagittarius has a tendency to overdo, and there is also a restlessness to the nature of Sagittarius linked to its fiery property that can cause an agitation in the health center. So Sagittarians need to work on calming and on finding creative outlets for their energy, which can keep their health in balance. You do not want to be an inactive Sagittarius. So if you're lying on the couch, eating junk food, get off and find something to do. Sagittarius has jurisdiction over the hips, the sciatic nerve, and the thighs. So any kind of postures in yoga, such as twists, are very good for the Sagittarius energy and for releasing that restlessness. Pisces has a connection to both the blood. So Pisces need to guard against any blood-borne diseases or misdiagnosis there, making sure that they have all the right balance of things in their blood. And Pisces also has jurisdiction over the feet. So if you think about it, feet are our grounding, and everything begins with that basis, grounding our feet on the earth. So Pisces do very well to walk in nature, and especially on the beach in water if you have that opportunity, Pisces. Because of the link to Jupiter with both of these signs, there can be, for both Sagittarius and Pisces, a tend to overindulge or a tendency toward laziness that they have to guard against. And food needs to be healthy because there might be a tendency toward rich foods. And in particular with Pisces, there's a need to guard against sensitivity to the environment. So for example, those invisible toxins that you can't see that may cause damage to the autoimmune system. This is something that Pisces need to be aware of, and the way they can come into better health is to balance the body in other ways by doing martial arts or meditation or anything that strengthens the auric field of the person. Pisces is also very closely linked to the lymph and the lymphatic system in the body. And any kind of Tai Chi or yoga or anything which gets the lymph flowing is helping to bring Pisces into alignment. Interestingly, both Sagittarius and Pisces are linked to the third chakra, which is here, just between the eyes. And this is a chakra very much linked to the spiritual self and to coming into alignment through meditation and through higher learning, for example, astrology or philosophy. So for both Pisces and Sagittarius, feed your mind higher learning in order to stay healthy. The final two signs we're going to talk about today are Capricorn and Aquarius, which are both ruled by the planet Saturn. Now, for traditional astrologers, Saturn was the planet that was the furthest visible to the eye, to the naked eye. And as such, Saturn represents anything which is the limit or which sets boundaries. And this is our skin, for example, and also our bones, which are linked to time and aging, which is another thing that Saturn rules. So Capricorn is very much linked to the bones, especially the knees and the joints, things that need lubrication as we grow older. And Capricorns have a tendency toward dryness, because Capricorn is also an earth sign. So Capricorns, your diet can improve if you introduce wet foods into it, as well as oils. Natural oils are good for all of us, but in particular olive oil, for example. As you age, you want to keep your system very moist, and this will prevent wear and tear on the joints and enable general good health to continue. The other tendency with Capricorns is overwork, and a good advice for staying healthy is to be silly and to laugh whenever the opportunity arises, trying to keep things in balance and to look after that skeletal structure of your body. So any weight-bearing exercise is good for you, and also cultivating this sense of lightness. Aquarius, you are also Saturn ruled. Now, Saturn rules the skin, so both Capricorn and Aquarius can be linked to having certain skin conditions. But I found this particularly relevant, especially with Aquarius rising. There can be stress-related skin ailments which manifest. So stress, it's got to come out somewhere, and for many Aquarius, it comes out in the skin. And not only through conditions such as acne, but also through rashes and through some kind of tingling sensation over the skin when the body is under stress. That skin is crawling feeling. Aquarius can be very sensitive to that, and they need to nurture their skin through all the regular ways, using lotion and, taking baths and Epsom salts, which are also good for the circulation. Another way for Aquarius to work on the skin is through meditation and through grounding practices which calm the nervous system. Both the skin and the circulation are linked in a way to flow. And putting your feet up, taking time to rest, honoring the fact that you can't keep going all the time, because Aquarius has endurance. So you want to find the balance so that health issues don't come later in life linked to either the skeletal structure or the skin or the nervous system. Energetically, the chakra which rules both Capricorn and Aquarius is the chakra up here, which is also linked to the ground. So if you wish to do any kind of grounding practice, you can simply place your hand above your head about 1 inch, and you can place your other hand firmly on the floor and feel this energy flowing from the head down into the ground, and feel the ground receiving that energy. This is a wonderful, quick way to balance yourself. And for all of the signs, we can all try that, because remember, we have 12 houses in our chart and we have a sign on each of those cusps. So every planetary energy needs to be expressed. And I recommend listening to this whole video, because for each of us, we're going to relate to different parts of this video at different times. And if you have your chart in front of you, look and see what sign is on the 6th house cusp, what sign is on the ascendant, what signs are my planets in. Before I finish off, I'd like to thank each and every one of you subscribers. It's been an incredible recent period of growth, and it's all thanks to you. I love your comments. I read every single one of them, and I'm so interested to hear how health is manifesting in your life. I also wish to invite those of you who are serious about studying astrology to apply for my course. It begins in September of 2022. I'm taking in a new group of students. We will be meeting on Mondays from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are 3 terms with long breaks in between them, so it's a year's course. It's the equivalent of a university course, and while you only need to commit to 1 year, the course will actually last 2 to 3 years. The second year involves more work on your own. It's for those of you who are interested in becoming consulting astrologers and in merging the fundamental concepts of traditional astrology with being able to help people in a therapeutic way. It is a commitment. You need to show up for class. Nothing is recorded. It's happening live. And that leaves me to wish everybody well. If you found something useful in the video, please subscribe. Until next time.